Hey, I'm Brandon Lee, and this is going to be my first look at the Insta360 Luna Ultra. Okay, so this is the Luna Ultra. It's a gimbal stabilized camera. It is a bit bigger and heavier than previous pocket gimbal cameras because it has two lenses instead of one. These are Leica lenses with Leica color science. There's a 1x lens with an f1.8 aperture and a 1-inch sensor. And there's a 3x lens with an f2 aperture and a slightly smaller 1/1.3-inch sensor. And this 3x lens can also focus very close, allowing almost macro level close-ups. You can zoom through the entire range, but there are some digital sensor crops and there's a sudden switch when you go from the 1x lens to the 3x lens, and then it digitally crops all the way up to 12x. But of course there is some image quality loss at maximum zoom. The Luna Ultra shoots up to 8K with Dolby Vision support, or 4K at 120 frames per second, which you're seeing here. It shoots 10-bit log in Insta360's own iLog format, which is how I shot all the footage in this review, unless otherwise noted. iLog supports the ACES professional color grading workflow. Another feature worth mentioning is focus breathing compensation, where the camera digitally crops in to avoid the slight zooming that you see as the focus adjusts itself. Notice how the background seems to zoom as I move? With focus breathing compensation, this goes away. The other major new feature is the detachable touchscreen remote control. This touchscreen lets you trigger focus as well as tracking. It can track people or objects. And you can also turn the power on and off, start and stop recording, and control the joystick and the zoom. And you can use the remote as a microphone. Or you can connect up to 2 Mic Pro microphones without the need for a separate receiver. And to top it all off, the Luna Ultra handle includes these tiny tripod feet, so you don't need to use a separate mini tripod when you want to set the camera down. So when you put all these features together, you get a great travel camera for doing cinematic gimbal shots at multiple focal lengths, plus easy vlogging and tracking. Okay, those are the basics. Now I'm going to dive into my tips for getting the most out of the Luna Ultra. And by the way, almost all the footage in this video was shot on the Luna, including the behind the scenes. Let's kick things off by taking a little tram ride around town. One of the main new features of the Luna is this detachable screen. So the screen of the Luna can actually just be removed like that, and then it becomes a remote control. So I could face the camera one direction, and then I can look at this tiny screen in my hand and see exactly what I'm shooting with wireless video. And also I can use this as a microphone if I want to film myself and hold the camera somewhere else. Next, we're going to open up those little tripod feet and I'm going to show you how to get a more professional looking vlog shot using the 3x lens. So I've just set up the Luna to film us at this restaurant. It's about 3 meters away with the 3x lens, so that gives us this sort of telephoto look. So this little touchscreen is how I adjusted the gimbal, adjusting the joystick, pan it, tilt it, set up the shot however I want. And I'm also using the microphone that's on top of this removable screen as my mic as I talk to you right now. And then to set my focus, I tap on myself on this little screen. So if I tap on the background, it's shifting the focus back there. And if I tap on me, it shifts the focus back to me. Now I'm gonna set down this screen. So now it's still recording my voice. Right now I'm about to eat a prawn dumpling with yuzu sauce on it. If you want to do vlogging shots on a tripod, the Luna Ultra makes it a lot easier with the detachable touchscreen remote. So the removable screen makes it a lot easier to set up a vlog of myself because I can preview exactly what I'm shooting on the little screen right here. And I'm also able to start tracking immediately just by single clicking on the joystick. So it just detected me as a subject. And now as I move around, it will track wherever I go. And if I'm not satisfied with the framing of this tracking, I can just adjust the joystick accordingly. Like let's say I want to show more of the church. Okay, now it will track with me at the bottom of the frame and the church above me as I move around. And this will also work with the 3x lens. So let's zoom in there. Okay, I zoomed in and now it is still tracking me as I move around. It's still able to keep me tracked. and I'm still using the microphone. Everything else still works the same. So you have freedom to choose between your focal lengths as you track yourself, and you can zoom all the way into 12x if you want, although there is some loss of quality there, or just go back to the 1x lens. Zooming out, there we go. Now there's one thing you should be aware of if you're tracking yourself with the Luna. If you go too far off to one side, you will hit a limit. You see that? That's the limit of the gimbal. So it can't go any further, and it's gonna lose the tracking eventually. It will lose me. But if I go to the other side, there is no limit. It can just keep tracking and tracking and tracking and tracking and tracking, and then I'm fine. So the thing to do here is to angle your gimbal like that, angle your Luna more like that. So that way you can walk in either direction a lot further without hitting the limit at all until I go behind the tree. Finally, here's some low light footage shot on the Luna Ultra. You get good performance in low light with both lenses, though the 1x lens has a slightly bigger sensor and therefore slightly better sensitivity. Insta360 has a special noise reduction mode called PureVideo, which will give you a cleaner looking image, but this comes at the cost of some loss of detail. You can shoot in PureVideo up to 4K resolution and up to 60 frames per second. So basically, if you don't want to do any post-processing, use PureVideo. If you plan on doing color grading and noise reduction, use iLog. The majority of people using the Luna will probably use it as a vlogging camera, so they'll just pull out the camera and start talking. So this is what it sounds like if you use the built-in audio. This is the audio straight out of the camera. I haven't applied any filters or anything to change it. I'm in a busy urban area, so there's a lot of background noise around me. So this is just the basic audio that you'll get from the Luna. However, the Luna will let you adjust the pickup pattern of the built-in mic. That means that I can choose to only record the front audio, my own voice, that's what you're hearing right now, and I can have it reject all of that audio out there. So that makes it a lot easier to get clean audio of yourself without relying on digital noise reduction. And you can also have it record audio in front and behind the camera. This is not the same pickup pattern as omnidirectional because it's still rejecting audio from the sides. So if I'm talking to the camera here and then I walk off to the side, you'll hear that my voice is not as loud anymore. And then it gets louder as I walk around to the back of the camera. And then it sounds the same when I'm back here at the front. So let's say I'm holding the camera like this and I'm interviewing somebody out there, but I still want to be able to hear myself talk from behind the camera just as clearly. That's what this pickup pattern is best for. If you want to be able to get more distance from the Luna with your audio, then you can use the Mic Pro, which is what you're hearing right now. It records internal 32-bit float stereo. So basically what that means is that it records left and right channels, it's stereo, and it's 32-bit float, which means that it will never peak. The audio will never be too loud so that it's distorted. You can always bring it back in post. There's a new feature of the Luna which may not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal to me, which is the ability to lock the gimbal. So on previous pocket gimbal cameras, the gimbal would always move when you move your hand. So it will just constantly either pan or tilt. There's no way to completely lock it off. Or if you could lock it, you had to hold down a button. But with the Luna, I can set a custom button to press once and it will stay locked. So you swipe down from the top and then you swipe over to your custom button settings. Click on that and then choose your right button, choose single press and lock/unlock gimbal direction. So now when I click on the right button of the screen, the gimbal orientation is locked, chicken head mode, it's not following the pan or the tilt. Let's talk about how to do a fake drone shot with the Luna because it's a little bit different than with other small gimbal cameras because of this removable screen. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is remove that screen. Then I will extend out the gimbal on the extension rod. I'm using my joystick to adjust my framing a bit. And I'm going to press my right custom button and I'm locking the orientation of the gimbal with that button. So now my gimbal's locked and no matter how I move, it will always face the same direction. It will always face forward. So now as I'm filming my shot, I don't have to actually look up at the Luna at all. I can just look at this little screen in front of me and the orientation is locked, so I don't have to worry about the shot accidentally panning to the left, panning to the right, or tilting in a way that I don't want. And one more little feature I appreciate of the Luna is that I can use this handle as a quick release to quickly put the camera on a selfie stick or some kind of extension or a tripod here and then quickly remove it. So basically I just leave the handle always connected to the extension rod, and then I remove the camera as necessary if I want to just go handheld for a while, and then drop it back on when I want to use the extension rod again. Here's a tip for how I like to get low angle shots with the Luna. So you could just try to hold it really low and shoot, which might work, but it's a little bit awkward. It's kind of hard to hold it like this at a really low angle. So what I like to do is I just turn it upside down like this, and then I shoot. Now, it's hard to see the screen when it's upside down like this, so I remove it, and then I hold the screen in my hand, and the screen will automatically rotate the image, so you're seeing a right side up image. And then I just hold it down there. So here I'm holding the camera low, and I'm looking into the screen, and I can use my joystick to set the framing however I want. And once I'm happy with the framing, I can press my custom right button, and that locks it. And I'm gonna crouch down before I walk so I get the camera as low as possible to the ground and do my ninja walk really smooth. And then I'll be able to get a nice looking low angle shot with the Luna here. The Luna Ultra has an optional wide angle lens which snaps on magnetically. This only affects your 1x lens, so it doesn't change the field of view of the 3x. It does add fisheye distortion, but this can easily be corrected in post using a lens correction effect. You can also get neutral density filters, which also attach magnetically. ND filters, of course, are essential for getting proper motion blur and bright light, but you got to be very careful with these filters because it's really easy to drop them or get fingerprints on them. So far, my tactic has been to mostly just use the ND16 in the daytime to avoid switching them. I generally shoot at 48p. I either set the shutter speed manually to 1/100, or I put it on auto and let it just self-adjust. Okay, that's my video about the Insta360 Luna Ultra. If you want to learn more about it, there will be a link in the description. Otherwise, please click like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.